Week 120 Justice for Qadira, and also Good Friday. So we are commemorating
Happy Good Friday to Portland.
Yep, we're commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus Christ today. And we also just want to thank Jesus. We went to our court hearing yesterday, and Pontius wasn't available. So again, we've received 3 tickets that were supposed to be criminal citations, but 2 times we've gone down and they've sent us away, so that is a good thing. I think it's ridiculous that we're being cited for doing these protests. I think the better suggestion is to probably take responsibility for what happened here, and what no better time than Easter. What happened to our daughter clearly happened around the time of Easter. In fact, frequently the burning and torture of our daughter lands on Easter. So we recognize that what happened to her was actually very similar to the story of Christ, because she should not have survived these burns. And I challenge anybody in the medical community to come challenge either one of us on that. That's why you don't see these people. They know that God has our back here in terms of telling this story. So we will continue to tell this story. Today we wanted to kind of talk about getting people to reflect on what is actually happening here in Portland. There's something really special happening here in Portland. Me and my husband don't get any media coverage. And while most of you might think that that's means we're losing, I really think that means we're winning. We're all winning with that, really, because the media is just run by evil, demonic forces, and that is being exposed via this protest, so we can thank Jesus for that.
Yeah, folks, there's something to be said about the fact that we are being suppressed to this level. We're speaking in the middle of downtown, okay? Why haven't you heard about us in any news publication? Folks, the only thing that you hear about in news publications is what they want you to hear about.
That's right, and they're causing a lot of division. Recently we had a run-in. I specifically, as a woman, a female speaker, I've had a run-in with the international star, Posey Parker. She knows who I am, and she called me nobody. And she's also trying to make outrageous claims about the trans community here, which are all untrue. She says they're, non-receptive and violent, and I'm just, in real life, I don't meet trans people that act like that, and they're all over the city. So I don't appreciate this woman lying about anybody. I also don't appreciate her coming to America out of the UK. She came here to have Let Women Speak rallies, and she wouldn't even give me a call. I am now being hounded online by her radical feminist followers who hate me. They hate me because I stand here with my husband, okay? So it's just instant hate, and that's why you don't see any of the Rad Femme Rags, magazines covering what's happening here, because they've completely turned their back on me. I've actually had several of them come to me and try to check me and tell me I'm not allowed to discuss how Posey treated me. I'll discuss how Posey treated me. Posey made her choices. It's a choice to walk by this protest. It's also a choice to ignore it, support it, or try to throw dirt on somebody. Posey tried to throw dirt on me. She did throw dirt on me. She called me nobody. So I called her a Nazi, and I stand by that statement, period, point blank. She can keep it moving as far as I'm concerned. I don't need anything she has. I have everything. Me and my husband, we have everything we need here with the people we live with. And we love everybody here, regardless of their behavior. Because I tell you right now, I think people here in Portland are doing a great job with this protest. I think this is like the best thing going on in Portland. And it's really cool, too. Me and my husband were talking about this morning, is how this story is actually traveling more like a Bible story would. So there's a lot of confusion with religious texts because so many different people wrote down accounts of what they saw, and those all kind of got compiled together. And then, I don't know, people have spent a lot of time getting angry at the Bible because of that, but you have to remember, lots of people were seeing things and they were making different accounts. And even though we have mass media today, that is what's happening with this story. So you've probably heard many things about me and my husband, and you've probably heard bits and pieces of the story. You're not getting the whole thing. And that's kind of cool, actually. I mean, the media can just keep doing its thing. I'm out there on Twitter now, and I see the divisiveness that is pushed by the media. I had a great conversation with my daughter the other day, and she was just saying to me, Mom, you got to stop thinking about, all these things and get off the, the social media, because there's things happening literally on social media that are creating so many problems. I think that trans people get a really bad rap because people pretend to be all kinds of things on this planet, and I mean they dress up in all kinds of costumes.
We have people pretending to be leaders.
Right, people pretending to be leaders, people pretending to be pastors, people pretending to be good people, and for some reason it's this particular community that gets targeted the worst because they're doing something that, it shocks the system immediately, when somebody is choosing to present as a different sex, essentially. And it's just interesting to watch how people are responding to that. But again, this doesn't mean that a whole group of people is sick or wrong or pedophiles or anything like that. Jesus Christ accepted everybody. And just because somebody is dressing a certain way or looking a certain way, that's not, that doesn't have to be a reflection of who you think they are, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we're not supposed to be walking around judging, but we are supposed to be walking around trying to be good to one another.
We're supposed to be trying to care for one another.
Exactly.
And that's really the only thing that matters, the only thing that humanity should be engaging in right now, especially 2,000 years, okay, from a man that we all supposedly still, revere. This man came here and all he was trying to do was get people to care about each other. Okay, and 2,000 years later, we have not gotten that done.
People don't want to hear it, and that's unfortunately why Jesus was murdered. He was murdered. I'm going to say it straight up. I'm not going to sugarcoat what happened.
This man did not die for our sins, okay? He was murdered by free will being.
He was murdered because people didn't want to hear it. Again, I mean, he was murdered, and that was the sin there, and then we went on to live without him, essentially. And then people like to say, oh, well, that took care of everything, and we have no responsibility to do anything else, and that's just not true.
That's just not the case, folks. We have so much work to do here on this planet. Okay, as a race of beings, we're still free will beings. God has not taken that away from us, okay?
We're
not automatons. We can choose to do good or to choose to do bad.
And God wants you down here. I really do believe that life is a free will exercise. So, that is something that people miss about this experience, but I think that when you look at the story of creation, I mean, literally the idea of free choice is built into that. I don't think, this is just my theory, but I don't really believe Eve was deceived like they say. I think Eve made a choice, and so did Adam, because I was actually studying the story of Lilith, which is the first creation story that's kind of built. It's in the old Jewish texts. But Lilith was actually the first woman. And when she came into the garden, when God created Lilith and Adam didn't get along. And Lilith, she checked out. It was kind of like the world's first divorce. She just went to go wander the wilderness. She was branded a demon, I think, because men got a hold of everything that these religious texts were trying to convey, that Jesus was trying to convey. They didn't necessarily understand it. They wanted control. They don't understand that life is a free will exercise. So they keep trying to control what's going on here, and I'm just telling you, you can't. So right now, we have the elites trying to control. They think they're going to make the world into some AI-driven utopia. Well, they're going to hell. That's where the elites are headed right now with their poor decisions.
Currently creating.
They're currently creating a hell, and that is what we need to resist, because we don't want to go live in hell with the elites, okay?
Trust me, they're not going to like it when they get there.
They're not going to like it when they get there. So when you're resisting and telling, Jeff Bezos and
Bill Gates
and Klaus Schwab, all of these people, we're at a moment in time where they need to be told, no, you can't just create a bunch of robots because you can't control the people down here. No, you can't just take all the resources and lock them up in your bank account. No, you cannot enslave people until the end of time, okay? When that becomes the clear mission, you're going to get a message. And me and my husband do believe we received a message, because our daughter lived. She survived something with no medical assistance. I mean, not even, they didn't even give her any fluids. They didn't even put a blood pressure cuff on her. We watched her suffer through this. They made us take care of her. They told us to go to the medical store and get bandages and Silvadine. She suffers to this day. That's another part of the story I feel like people don't really miss, because what we've experienced is like no regard for the victim. That's one of the things I've been saying to these rad femmes that are trying to shut me up about Posey is, you have no regard for the victim. Do you know you have no regard for an 8-year-old little girl who suffered? Don't call yourself a feminist. You know what I'm saying? Because this means you have no regard literally for women or girls. If your whole deal is just to support Posey no matter what. Because I'll tell you right now, I've looked at this Standing for Women organization. They're collecting money. They're collecting money to build their hellhole. So if you give them money, that's what they're building. It's going to be an exclusive hellhole. You want to go live there, be my guest. I'm not interested. I will not stand up for this woman. And again, I think that the message right now, we need to double down on acceptance and caring for one another, okay?
On a mass scale.
On a mass scale.
Everybody that is here deserves to be here. Do you understand that? And it is our job to make sure that that happens.
That's right. So that's why we keep getting out here and telling this story. We have faith. Very much we feel that our daughter's life is a gift, and we celebrate every minute that we are gifted with her, because she could have died in her bed and we wouldn't have really known what happened. I mean, we were being lied to on a mass scale, and literally the world is being lied to on a mass scale right now, because this is going on in Portland, and the media just, they won't, not a peep. So that should tell you
that there is an agenda.
There's something wrong with the people that are running the media. I mean something really wrong with them, you know?
They want to keep this so suppressed. They want you ignoring the truth. That's what they want you to do. And right now, there's a sleight of hand. Right now, a movement from the fiat currency that we have to this digital currency. They are trying to control what you value, but they don't want you, okay, to understand that you are the value. That's what they don't want you to understand.
They don't want you to embrace that concept, which is why they are hiding us, because they don't want everybody to be here. Me and my husband want everybody to be here, because we have to start healing people. We have to start helping people, and we have to stop judging people, and we need to get this planet going in a better direction. I watched a horrific video on Twitter the other day. It was a woman from Lebanon. She slit her own daughter's throat after her daughter was raped and assaulted. Because in her culture, this is acceptable. But see, we've made killing so acceptable on this planet, and it's not. It's never acceptable.
No, it was one of the commandments, folks. Jesus said, don't be killing people. I mean, every religious direction that has come down to us has told us it is wrong to murder people, yet we still do it, and we do it with impunity and without regard for anything that matters.
I mean, the most important thing you can do if somebody is suffering, if somebody is suffering here, the best thing you need to do for somebody, a suffering person, is to help them. I mean, that's what Jesus taught. And I'm sorry that even though we have, all these Christians, Catholics, all these people that believe in Jesus, but
Muslims.
They're not. Yes, the Muslims too. They're not. Nobody's following that direction. I mean, people are just being beaten and harmed, and we need to change that around globally. I have a lot of concerns. I mean, we've got millions of women right now locked up in Afghanistan like cattle.
And in Iraq. And
Iran, Iraq. I mean, all these Middle Eastern countries. But not just there. We've got the Muslim slaves in China that Nike is exploiting. We've got people in bondage all over the world. And we need to start communicating to one another that we are the value, so we can help them too. And that's a message that I really believe needs to come from America.
Folks, there's no reason on this planet that a human trafficking industry is making $150 billion a year.
It's a shame. It's very shameful. People keep saying that Jesus is coming back. Well, I mean, what are you
We're not acting like he's coming back.
What do we have to show him? We have a gigantic hellhole, so let's not be surprised if he comes here and says, the place looks like a gigantic hellhole. I see a lot of people congratulating themselves, a lot of world leaders, on building this gigantic hellhole, and I just want to send a message to them that we see you, and you are not going to not pay for this, okay? You cannot treat people like this. You cannot cause this type of division and treat God's creation like this, and no one's ever going to come and talk to you about it. You're going to get talked to about it. What you are doing is unacceptable, and if you don't like me and my husband right now, you're not going to like God, okay? So you're probably not going to go see God, and that's something that I've been trying to explain. This is how people end up in hell. People get blamed a lot. I mean, God gets blamed a lot for the choices people make. Again, this is a free will exercise. That's the whole point. That's why people can choose once they reach the age of majority and they're no longer under the care of their parents. You can start choosing to do whatever you want to do, what the things that are here and available. I do think at this point in time, because we have so many people in other countries that are very authoritarian in our LGBTQ community, especially that are being completely erased. I mean, they're never going to allow what we have going on here in America and these other places if we do not figure out how to do this.
How to make it work, folks.
I want everybody to know that when I'm out here making suggestions, what I'm trying to do, what me and my husband are trying to do, is hopefully to get people to see a way where we can put on a better presentation here in America, so all around the world people can say, oh, that kind of looks like something we want to emulate. Thank you. Because that's what we're trying to do, is calm things down all over the planet, because we need people to get back to the business of living. We have a lot of people who are not living. When you're not living, that means you're not evolving. You're stuck. And we need to get the souls on this planet evolving again, and not just being, crushed under this never-ending tyranny. And we really, really, really need America to get it together, because, the fact is we're causing a lot of problems right now with our obnoxious paid-for media, and they're just spewing lies and causing all this hate and division that is so unnecessary. And usually it's not even the reality on the ground. I mean, that's why I got so angry at Posey. You guys know I've never talked about her before, but I go all over this community with no security. I'm perfectly fine. How dare she say this town is full of angry trans radical activists who are going to come kill a woman in the street. I mean, her behavior is what is causing people to be so upset when she comes around. People don't like Nazis, okay? And that's what it is, and that's what she is. And so when you Google her and you see her all over the media, just remember, that's the media pushing this divisive idea onto you. And I see it going into people's brains, and I see this hate spreading because they look at these social media apps and they think, oh, this is what all black people are like, or this is what all trans people are like, or, you know, this is what all women are like. Come on. That's not true. Everybody is an individual, you know, and everybody, after they reach the age of majority, they're going to be making their own free will decisions. The only rule really is, and Jesus taught this, was just be kind. Treat other people like you want to be treated, okay? That is going to solve a lot of problems on the planet. You have to realize that everybody is welcome here in this consciousness, and that's what this is. This is a consciousness. This is not just a finite planet and we're running out of things.
No, we are a collective conscious.
Yes.
Okay? That's humanity. It's a group consciousness. And even though we're all making individual decisions, guess what? We're all making them together.
Right.
And that is what is creating what we are seeing here in our reality.
Right. And we can actually start turning this ship around and making this experience a lot better for everybody, but we have to have a goal. So, right now the goal on this planet is making money. Me and my husband would like to change that.
We would like to change that. Our suggestion is the goal of humanity should be to care for people.
Right. We need to see a lot more people taking care of other people. I think caregiving needs to be taught in schools. It should be a very heavy subject. It's primarily what you need to be learning. You need to be learning how to care for other people. You need to learn that the person sitting next to you in your community is a lifeline. We're not being given any of these tools because the evil demonic people that are running everything, they want everything for themselves. They're very selfish. They don't understand what actually is going on here because they've put themselves, I'm sorry, another something. They've put themselves so far above the reality of what's going on in the world, in civilization, that, you know, they keep trying to control it because they no longer understand it. Okay? But that is not for them to do. And if we allow them to keep doing this, if the majority of people do not start resisting this pathway, we're all headed in that direction with them. So if you've seen the movie Drag Me to Hell, that's what the elites are doing right now. They think they're taking humanity to a better place, but they're literally creating a hellhole. And we can see that.
They are trying to get rid of a lot of us right now, and they're getting it done, folks, because we are not waking up.
Yeah,
we're not waking up.
We are blaming we're sitting here blaming people for not having the tools to actually, have not been given the tools to function in society. And I've talked about this before, how our schools teach nothing. They teach nothing. I really believe, me and my husband really believe after this experience, that every single person in America, really globally, people need to be taught CPR, first aid, caregiving, civics, legal and financial literacy. We need to be able to, all the other subjects are great, and by all means study them, because again, this is a free will exercise, but if you're going to spend 12 years learning something, you need to learn how to communicate with other citizens.
And you need to learn how to care for people.
And then you need to learn how to be respectful about other people's choices and, you know, not judge other people for, you know, wearing a wig or wearing a dress or being anyway, except for, I will say this, if you hurt kids, if you rape kids, if you're killing people, that's a problem, because that goes against universal law. Everything else isn't. Choices are great. We want people making choices. Sometimes you're going to find you made the right choice for you. Sometimes you're going to find that you didn't make the right choice for you. But if you're an adult, these are choices that you're allowed to make choices. That's the deal. The religious text, you know, the way men wrote them down because they were trying to control everybody, that kind of gets lost in translation. Okay, nobody's going to hell because they're gay or they're trans or anything like that. You're going to go to hell if you hurt people, because you're going to choose to go there because it's going to be real difficult for you to
face
God. And that's the problem Satan's having. He's been running his whole life. He just can't do it. God would love for Satan to come home, but he's scared. You know what I'm saying? He's a scared child, and he's done a lot of bad things now. You start racking it up, it gets really, 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 really difficult. So I think there's just a lot of confusion with a lot of religious texts, and I think that's unfortunate because it's caused people to behave in these absolutely ridiculous manners. I mean, I see these women in Afghanistan, and my God, I hope the women of Iran and Afghanistan and Iraq, I hope they can hear me. I hope somebody tells us that we're out there, because we are worried about them and we are thinking about them. You know, the little girls in Africa that are being subjected to female genital mutilation. I am thinking about them. It haunts me. Okay, I want these men to behave, and so does my husband. Trust me.
Absolutely, folks.
But again, this is a free will exercise, so people are making choices, and some people think they're making choices that is going to get them some salvation. If you are hurting somebody, if you are raping a kid, that's what I'm mostly focused on. That needs to stop. So we get out here for our daughter, period. Because I will tell you right now, kids cannot consent. So,
and they need our protection.
Absolutely,
that's right. If you're
absolutely.
Adult, your job is to protect a child, not hurt them.
Absolutely, and that is another lesson that is not being taught. So a lot of people are confused about what they're even supposed to be doing as parents. Your job is to help your child make good decisions until you've been given the tools and are adult enough to start making decisions for themselves. Unfortunately, another problem we're having on planet Earth today is the greed. There's so much greed. When people are reaching the age of majority, they're not being able to make good decisions, adult decisions, because they're not even being able to do things like get their own apartment, move out from their parents, get married if they want, whatever they want to do. A lot of that is being frustrated because, I mean, I can't believe just billions and billions locked away. These rich people with all these empty houses. It makes absolutely no sense.
We are being so irresponsible, folks, and we are raising irresponsible people. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people, okay, who are running things who are not adults. Okay, they are immature. They are children, and they are running our society, and they are running it into the ground.
Yeah, and they'll stand there and tell you they're a leader. They'll tell you that they're, you should be listening to them and all this, that, and the third. And then, the reality is they're really a child in costume, and they're like a spoiled brat, okay, that's throwing a tantrum because, they can't have everything. And it's like, well, you can't have everything because you can't use everything, and we don't need
you. And you don't need everything.
Yeah, you don't need everything. I mean, like Bill Gates, I keep hammering on about this man because, I'd love it if I could talk to him. What is his problem? He just wants everybody eating bugs and being controlled by his what? He makes no sense. He's an unhappy person, and he's going to continue to be unhappy for a long time because he's done so much evil stuff. He's up there with Satan. Good luck getting home when you've been behaving like that.
But we want you to come home. Okay?
If you can.
We want you to come home. You can turn around at any point.
That's right.
You can decide to stop doing what you're doing if it is bad, if it is hurting people, and you can go the other direction.
This is why we are calling now for, J.W. Matt Hennessy to step down as a leader in the black community. He's a pedophile. He raped his family member, and he admitted to it. And the black community doesn't need to be going to his church for spiritual sustenance. When you do stuff like that, you need to cuff yourself and take yourself down to the police station and take your lumps. We can't identify everybody. Like I said, everybody's wearing a costume. People are shape-shifting like you wouldn't believe. And it's very interesting to see people get angry, more angry at the trans community for doing that, when everybody's doing it. Look at the Pope. I think the Catholic Church just partnered with Balenciaga. How disgusting is that? And, we had priests raping kids, since they started that church. It happens in a lot of churches because you have so many pastors, masquerading as people of God when they're not at all. So that is something that I just wish people would reflect on that today. There's so many people wearing costumes out in the world, and we need to start actually. Oh, interesting. Thank you. So he was just talking about.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stay out of it. I'll keep him out of it. Thank you for the information, though. The fact is he was just, again, commenting on this sex trade that we've got going on, this $150 billion sex trade. I don't know what's going on here. Looks like somebody's hurt or something. I'm sorry if that's true. Anyway.
Folks, we're going to be out here. We're going to stay coming out here because what we want you to understand is the truth. And the truth is you are what is valuable. You are what actually matters. The people running everything, they don't want you to know that. Okay? They don't want you to know that you can be making responsible free will decisions on this planet that is actually caring for our world. Okay.
And since I'm looking at all these police cars here right now, I just want to say one particular thing about the policing today in today's societies. It's very unfortunate that kids are not taught that other kids are a lifeline, that they're not taught CPR, first aid, gun safety, civics, all the things you need to, and caregiving, all the things you need to survive in society. Because
to be responsible in society.
What you have now is the police. They're trying to police basically a growing outdoor mental institution because people are, like I said, they're not being given the tools they need to grow up or the opportunity. So, we are all falling to chaos in this model.
So we do apologize to you, Portland police, for, what you're having to deal with.
But we are out here trying to fix it. The fact that we don't get any backing, that's on everybody that walks past this protest. But again, I have to say that I think that is okay. Because at the end of the day, this thing is unfolding the way it is unfolding. What are you doing, babe? It's okay for this thing to unfold the way it's unfolding. Me and my husband, we don't get discouraged anymore. We feel empowered and encouraged.
Thank you.
It seems like there is just so much chaos building here at Rally today. Do you want to turn the camera when the gate moves? I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lot of cop cars and a lot of chaos for people who are watching the camera. So I hope somebody isn't hurt. I'm not sure what's going on.
But folks, we're going to stay out here. We're going to stay talking. We're going to give it to you straight the way that we see it. Okay, it's just our perspective. And we're just out here making suggestions. Okay, because we see what's going on with the world. And we see we experience directly. Okay, what was wrong with it? Irresponsible people in positions of authority making decisions for other people.
Right, and they're making irresponsible decisions, and that's kind of what I'm talking about when I was talking about the story of creation, when I read that first creation story and then the second creation story with Adam and Eve. It's very interesting. I think Lilith got buried because she made a free will decision, and people don't want to talk about that because, there's so many people that want to control the religious texts and say that religion is about control. And I think it's just the opposite. The more we try to control people, the worse things get. And the problem is because you got men trying to control people. And the fact of the matter is that's not how this place is set up. You can do the things you want to do. You just can't hurt anybody. And you can't stand around judging somebody for their free will decision unless you have to intervene. It's okay for the cops to come intervene when somebody is hurting somebody else, but they shouldn't have to do that very much. We shouldn't have to build up our police force.
And the police should not be doing that themselves, folks.
It's not. It's really not fair to them, but a lot of these people are beholden to their paychecks. So they're just doing what they have to do to make a living, and then they're trying to get out and get in the middle of stuff that they're told to go get in the middle improving anything on the ground. It doesn't improve anything on the ground because, again, the people over the police, they don't want anything good for anybody. I don't believe that about our officers. I don't believe that about our soldiers. Most of the police officers or soldiers, people I know in the military, these are usually people who have wanted to, give back to the community as kids. They were the kind of kid that said, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a fireman.
I want to help the community.
I want to help. And then they grow up, they get these jobs, and they get very disillusioned. And I think it's very unfortunate because they see so much chaos in society because it's being run into the ground by, again, demonic forces.
By irresponsible people.
These people on the media, you got to take a close look at them. I was even wondering, I have 4 children, and you guys see me out here with my husband. We always work together as a team.
And that's how men and women are supposed to behave together, folks.
Right.
Should be equal, should be neutral, nobody overtaking the other, okay? We should be working as a team together, and that's the best way or the most efficient way for humanity to evolve here on this planet.
Yes, and what I would like to see to add to that is I'd like to see somebody really emerge as a leader in the trans community because they're just getting buried with all these fakes and frauds. So, but I mean, I've seen some real nice people, you know what I'm saying, that are out there and that they get no attention at all. So, I just think that a lot of this divisiveness that we see and chaos could be calmed down by some real leaders emerging. I think me and my husband, we're kind of coming out here for the men and the women, but we are missing a trans voice, and I encourage somebody to step up to the plate. If you want to take that space, I welcome you to speak because we're out here putting out suggestions. We want to put the fire out. We see a lot of problems going on. There's a lot of authoritarian bills being passed right now. My opinion is because we need to slap an 18 and over sticker on these surgeries and drag shows and things like that. We don't just need to do it for us. We need to do it for the people in other countries right now who their leaders turn on our TV and they see what's going on here, and then they go about murdering people in their countries because of what they see over here. So don't be so America-centric, okay? You got to think about all your brothers and sisters, just like
all over the planet, folks.
Just like I tell you, I can hear the women in Afghanistan crying at night. I mean, it haunts me. The women of Iran, it haunts me. I mean, I would rather die than be shrouded and locked in my house. So, I mean, America has real problems that we should be responding to. And I don't see people, hey you, I don't see people on the media, hey, how you doing? I don't see people on the media doing this. And so we are out here doing it because we really have to all take a step back and do some self-reflection as we move forward, because the elites have their plan, and it's a really ugly plan.
And they've been planning it for a very long time, folks.
And they're paying people to get it done.
And it's getting done.
It's getting done. They are building their hellhole, and they've got all their distractions out there. We've got Trump, we've got Posey, we've got, I guess Robert F. Kennedy is running for president now. I don't know really what these people's deal are, but I don't trust anybody I see in the media. Me and him, we've been doing this way too long to trust anybody we see on TV, because I don't know how you get on TV. You must have to ink a deal with the devil. That's all I can see, because that's the only people they let on TV. You notice how the left and the right ignore us? Both sides want control. That's what they want, and so they put out all this media to make people fight, and then they come in with their police officers and their shitty suggestions, and they say, oh, we're going to fix it. And they're not fixing it for anybody. Everybody's miserable. Even they're miserable.
Worse, they continue to make it worse with every single suggestion, and the problem with their suggestions is they have influence. They have money. They can make what they suggest happen.
Yeah, and they don't like people. They just don't like people. Because they're very disconnected from people, and people have lost sight of that. I see people just follow these elites around like the Pied Piper. Piper. You know what I'm saying? The Pied Piper. He blew his instrument and let everybody off a cliff, and people went willingly.
150 kids that he, or was it 133?
130 kids, I think. But the fact of the matter is, I see a lot of Pied Pipers these days. Posey's a Pied Piper. I've tried to tell the Rad Femmes that, but they hate men, so me being out here with a man is a serious problem. So they won't even listen to me. They'll go willingly to the hellhole, and then when they get there, they'll say, "Oh God, why did you put me here?" It's like, because you walked there yourself. You locked yourself in that situation by being judgmental and crappy to other people around you. You know, it was when all this stuff started up with Posey that I have to say, I was like, I'm so grateful for the trans community here, because, you know, I've noticed that trans people can smell a Nazi from 10,000 miles away. It's very interesting. So, you know, we have to stop judging people. We have to start loving people, okay? Not everybody's bad. Not everybody's good. Not everybody's your friend. Not everybody's your enemy. There's a way forward, and we need to start making that happen. So that's why we continue to get out here, and I think it's going to be a really fun summer. I encourage the media to continue to not cover us, because they look so silly at this point. Let them be that. Let them make that choice. That is their decision. But we all know, we can all look up and see who owns the media, and we can all see they're faking the funk. And they need to figure out when they're going to get it together, and they've got time. I mean, we're here. You guys are here. Everybody's going to make their choices.
But we hope that you make good ones, folks. And a good choice is a choice that is towards caring for people. Okay? So like I said, they got this new digital currency rolling in. They're signing bills all over the world. Okay? They're making agreements. I want you to know, every single agreement on this planet is negotiable. It is, we do not have to be doing anything here on this planet. Okay, so we can talk about every single thing that is going on this planet, and that includes the use of money.
That's right.
Okay, money is an agreement. But what does it really mean?
Well, I don't know what it means when you've got people just shoving. I mean, people are supposed to be taking care of themselves with the money, but you now have people that they've locked all the money away. I mean, just forget it. Now they're just going to turn it into something, you know, that's digital, so they can just, make it easier to kill people, because this is these elites. Like, I'm not kidding. I hear these people chomping and chewing at night. They're eating this entire planet, and it's not their right.
It is not their right,
It's
folks.
not their right to push out all the consciousness that is here and replace it with just their consciousness. They are so miserable, and they're going to be even so much more miserable. And then you've kind of got a useless planet, because can you really be sending people here if the experience here is that bad? There will be no free will experiences here if we don't get a handle on this. You know, Noah Yuval Harari, their prophet, he says free will is over. Well, Noah, I don't think so.
I disagree.
Maybe for
homeboy,
you, because you're making that choice. And if you want to go live somewhere where you have no choices, go do that. But it's not your right to drag everybody with you. But then on the other side of that, it's your right if you want to take a walk with that guy and go to that world. Me and my husband, we're saying no thank you. No thank you.
It is our right to be out here trying to make a beautiful world, and that is what we are going to do. Okay? We're going to be out here encouraging what really needs to be said and what folks really need to be doing to put our planet back together. And that's caring for each other, caring for people, caring for life.
And I want everybody here to hear me here. We have a lot of different groups here in Portland. We've got the alt-right. We've got the LGBTQ community. We've got the black community. This is something.
Antifa.
Yeah, well, all of it. Patriot Pair, all these different groups. But we also have Qadira, and we have this story. And this isn't just a Bible story. This is something that actually happened in our community. So if you can't believe in Jesus, you should be able to believe in Qadira, because she is a living victim. She lives with all these injuries that this burn did to her. And we should be able, they should be able to come and apologize. We should be able to have a conversation conversation
We
about
should be
this.
able to have a responsible conversation about how a child was treated here by the government, by people running our society.
That's right, because we need to have a lot of conversations about how children are being treated on this planet, and we need a lot of people to get their act together right now. So this is a great story for us to start focusing on. So, I really call on all these different communities. Let's come together, because we can come together. Do you see how the media has come together? You see how the left and right fakes and frauds out there, all of them, literally, I'm calling them all out, because nobody will invite us for an interview. So they are all just fakes. Every news station you listen to, they just cover distractions. That's what Trump is. That's what Posey is. That's what Biden is. That's what all this nonsense on the TV
Dylan Mulvaney is.
Dylan Mulvaney. Lord have mercy. Somebody go get your boy. You know what I'm saying?
If that's not a distraction, I don't know what is, folks.
I tell you, Dylan, you really need to repent for what you're doing. It's terrible. I mean, he's another person that's out there fomenting hate. I will not refer to Dylan as a she, okay? Because Dylan is not a she, and that's very, very obvious, because I don't believe Dylan is trans. And that's my issue. People think that the trans community can't be infiltrated. BS. Okay, like every other community has been infiltrated, so has the trans community. Because I tell you right now, I don't run into trans people that act like Dylan. I don't. And I live in a city full of them. So, again, that's why I call Posey Parker on her BS. Me and her, we advocate for separate spaces for different reasons. I want to include people in society, and I do think that people who are experiencing gender fluidity within themselves, they should have bathrooms to go to.
They should have safe places to be,
sports
folks.
organizations. I mean, Nike will sign a $1 million ad with Dylan, but they won't, set up a transgender sport league where trans men and trans women can compete. Because I actually think that'd be pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Because they're a little bit more equal. I mean, I think they'd probably get more, they'd probably make more money and have more press than the women's league, because women, we keep ending up in this hole like my daughter is right now. Everything I'm telling you comes from a point of I really care. I'm a caregiver. That's what I've been doing my whole life. That's what I've given my life to, is caregiving. I've given my life to my family and caregiving. So I'm always trying to figure out how we make things better for everybody, not how we make things worse. And I want to make sure we are putting on a really, really, really good presentation of diversity here in America. So when China and Russia and these people in Iran, these men in Afghanistan, when they turn on the TV, they should see communities that are flourishing
and
thriving because of diversity. Okay? Because women are out of the house, because trans women are existing and living within our communities, because men are treating women and marginalized groups like they matter. This can be done, and we can get there, and we'll be so much. Hold on.
We'll be so much stronger for folks as a race of beings.
That's right.
As a race of beings. So right now, folks, it's so important for us to acknowledge your sovereignty, acknowledge your authority. It's all built into your person. You are a sovereign, free will being. That's how God made you. That's how God meant you to be. You are not here to be controlled by anybody, okay? You're not here to do anything that you don't want to do.
I actually told somebody the other day that I get frustrated with the religious text, because I just feel like we're all sitting here in a hellhole. So if y'all could just put the books away, because you're reading them, you don't understand them, just go back to the golden rule. And if you run across a problem, go back to the golden rule. You know what I'm saying? That's the only one that you really need to be able to figure anything out, because you need to treat people like you want to be treated.
We need to treat people like they matter, folks. Every person here matters, and we need to be behaving that way. We need to be, that should be the foundation of human society.
Absolutely.
Global human society. The fact that people matter, and the fact that it's important that we care about them.
So when people are being born on the planet, they are having a good life experience. That's our ultimate goal me and my husband, we want to see people having a much better life experience. Obviously, we were living a pretty happy life until our daughter was burned.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, oops, what's that? So anyway, we were living a pretty good life until our daughter was burned, and now it's just like we're just being harassed. You know, we've been harassed by the government for the last 16 years for even mentioning that this happened, which, you know, that's what I spent 16 years doing. I mean, I was 29 when my daughter was abused. I'm 46 now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still dealing with this, which I have a finite, what is finite here in consciousness is the amount of time you get to be here. So you can waste it, or you can be miserable the whole time, or we can all work hard to actually care for one another, stop judging one another, and start taking care of one another. It can be done. There is hope.
So folks, we're gonna stay coming out here, like I said, giving it to you straight, telling you the truth about what you are and really what we should be doing here. Okay? And it's just a suggestion. You don't gotta do anything.
Yeah, you
okay?
don't gotta do anything.
You don't gotta do anything you don't want to do. You are a free will being.
That's right.
Okay, but our suggestion is that you start caring for each other.
Start looking for a way out of this
Stop
hellhole.
listening to the people in charge who just want to get rid of you so they can keep everything for themselves.
Another thing I want to talk about before we pack it up, and we're going to pack it up here in a minute, is I'd like to talk about the kind of protesting I see on planet Earth all the time. They've got it going on in France right now. They're burning everything down. Y'all got to stop doing that. My husband is a carpenter. The laborers who built everything, you're insulting them. You're insulting them when you
That's
start...
hard work. It's hard work to construct these buildings, okay? It's hard work to build society and to watch it just be torn down for no reason. That is disrespectful, folks.
Yeah, we
don't need to be destroying anything, okay? We need to be caring for people. We need to be getting rid of this rigid idea that people need to be doing something specific, okay? According to some text or some law somewhere.
Yeah, we need to just start moving towards caring for people. And like I said, let's just take it back to the golden rule, because I think there's like, I don't even know how many laws anymore, and really none of them apply. I mean, me and my husband have seen law enforcement break all the laws. And even the people
Judges, attorneys.
even the people who are involved in law enforcement, a lot of these people feel bad. Okay, I don't harbor any hate towards the Portland police, because these guys are getting buried, okay? They have no leadership. They're being treated like absolute crap. They're just like the rest of us, you guys. It's just, they have jobs, they have families.
They're supposed to follow orders, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And they're doing the best they can. But I mean, I think they'd be doing better if they would, you know, show some support for what me and my husband are actually doing. I think everybody would. And the deal is we set this up to not take donations, because what we want is you. We want your personal help. We want you to make a commitment. We don't want you to hand us some money and walk away. So that's why we do this on our own time and our own dime, because what matters is you. That's ultimately why we're out here. We need to change this world so children are safer, so that people are living better lives, so people can come here and evolve, okay, and not just be subjected to tyranny their entire lives.
So with that, folks, we're going to shut it down, but we're going to be back. We're going to be back. We're not giving up on you. We're committed. We know all about commitment. We know what that means. We know how to do it. Okay, so here it is, folks. We're going to leave you with this.
And before we say that, I just want to let everybody know that next week on April 12th, 2007, that will be a Wednesday. We will be speaking in Multnomah Village. That will also be the anniversary of the burning and torture of our daughter, and we ask you all to reflect on that. And please pray for Qadira. Qadira lives with a lot of medical issues. She's a very kind, sweet, loving, accepting person. And I ask everybody to say a prayer for her every April 12th, because every minute that we have with her in this world is something that we are so grateful for, and we really do give the glory to Jesus Christ for that, okay? Jesus is a very special person in our family, and this is also a very somber day for us. It's very hard to be hit back to back with the crucifixion of Christ and what I would consider the crucifixion of our own daughter. So please, Portland, let's try to be kind to one another. We are building something here. I want everybody to have hope. That is something that Mary never lost, was hope. Mary always believed it in Jesus, and I believe Mary believed in Jesus because I believe Mary was Jesus' wife, and I know that most people would consider that heresy, but I think that, like I said, a lot of things got mixed up in these texts, and I hope we can appreciate that here in Portland because, like I said, our story kind of travels like a Bible story. So, people are hearing lots of different things, and I encourage you even to go home and write about what you see here, because one day that may be read by somebody, an account of what actually happened here in Portland, especially if we never end up getting any media. So let's start ending.
Folks, here it is. This is what we want to leave you with. You are what is valuable, not money, not gold or silver, not cryptocurrency, not any kind of digital currency, not anything you can find on the stock market. You are literally what is valuable.
Absolutely.
And you need to understand that.
Absolutely.
And that's the way we need to be behaving on this planet, like people matter.
Absolutely.
So here it is. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value. That's people, folks.
That's people.
Nothing else.
Not money, people. Okay, God bless. We have a special song today that we're going to play, and because it's a song that we believe is very healing, and we'd like to bring healing to this city. So we will see everybody back here for week 121